start off on behalf of Seventh Give, which is seventh generation Indigenous visionaries. We want to acknowledge the lands that we're occupying and that we're on right now, and say thank you, like to just name a few, like the Six Nations and Mississauga First Nations, that these are their lands that you're on also right now, and yeah, you know, I'm not a great speaker. I'm not an expert on anything. I can't spout off statistics and things like that, but I'm an expert on what I know, what I feel, and what I've seen. And what I know is the atrocities that come out of occupation and living with apartheid. And you know, I'm an expert on understanding the loss of identity by not being attached to your homelands. I understand the things that come about, the misguided lives people live when living in urban settings when they're not used to that, and they don't understand why. They don't know why they don't fit in. They don't know why they feel like they're lost all the time. They don't know why they're hurt or why they're angry all the time. But I understand that because I live that, and my friends do, the co-founders of our group. Like, we understand that and we see it, and you know, we get asked all the time, you know, why do we say we understand the Palestinian struggle or any struggle that way? But people don't realize that in the States and in Canada, the First Nations people, they're living under occupation as well. I guess that's the one thing I want to say is about occupation, living under occupation. You understand that there's an oppressor and the oppressed, and these countries that have dealt with apartheid, Africa, and living in Palestine and Israel, both sides. It's not just the Palestinians. Israelis have to deal with it as well. That disconnection from each other. These governments that have imposed this learned this from the United States. What we learned firsthand. The university that we attend, Haskell Indian Nations University, it became out of something that exterminate my existence. But now I'm there, receiving my degree and being able to travel. I never thought I would leave the country, come to Canada, let alone go to Palestine. These things are unimaginable to Indigenous youth and people in the States, any Indigenous people. It's not something you see, but it should be. We are complacent with this racism that's imposed on us, and we think it's normal. Our assimilation, when we spoke with Palestinian youth, they say, oh, that's our normalization too. Or if I have problems with my school or work, they're like, oh, we understand that too. They see the same thing. When we were in Palestine, they're just like our family. These strategies and tactics that are imposed there are the same things that we understand. We see this every day. Like, I live with this every day. I understand, growing up in a city and not wanting to be there, but I don't know why. I didn't understand that, how just a few generations back, we were having to deal with, the intergenerational trauma, or the lack of being with our people all the time. I didn't understand it, but I felt it, and that's what's happening with with occupation and apartheid today. I don't understand it, but now I do. And the only way we can get away from that is if we, educate and allowing Indigenous people that are living still, allowing them a place to speak and share their culture, because that's what they know. These oral histories, we can learn and get away and get out of this colonialism and this occupation. The ties to the land, they run so deep that not everybody understands that. I don't know how to explain that. It's just this inherent thing with Indigenous people. You know when it's right, when it's wrong. You just feel it, and that's what one thing. With Seventh Give, what we're all about is helping ourselves heal, so we can help our own nations in the States heal. Because it's just not there. The building of solidarity between all Indigenous people, it's a must, and it needs to happen, and it's paramount in my life and in the people in Seventh Give, which seventh generation. It's a philosophy in many Indigenous cultures that everything you do is for is for the next 7 generations. You never live just for the day. Everything you do today is going to impact your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren's lives. And just being here today, I never thought I would be here visiting First Nations people. I never thought I would, I never did. I mean, that sounds crazy, and like people say it's sad, but that's the reality of even generations ago, having to be shipped off to boarding schools, and how he mentions the Holocaust and it being, the most inhumane thing that's ever happened. They learned that from, shipping indigenous people in the States to boarding schools. The university I attend, we have a cemetery, we have the train tracks. Right next to our school are boxcars full of kids were dropped off there. I can walk through my campus and know where that jail was when somebody spoke their language, when they could hear them speak or when they needed to heal and find medicine. When these things went down, there's a jail there that I can go and find. And, it's a really sad thing to do, but that's reality. And I've had to figure out, how I can heal with that. And that's just, some of the things we do now is we have to talk, we have to have this dialogue. And like I said, even my own people, even people of my tribe, my family, I don't get it. I don't see it. We have problems, but the problems are bigger than what we see. As First Nations or tribes in the States, we don't see it because we have within, it's supposed to be nation to nation coexistence, but it's not that even in the States. They say we have our sovereignty, but we don't see it all the time. And we see exactly what the same thing is when we traveled to Palestine. It's exact same things going on. Like I said, people can mock what I say or laugh at it for saying I don't know what I'm talking about. But I can come here today and meet a student that says, they're the first nation, they're the first generation of their family outside of a residential school. Those are the realities of, being here, where you're at. This is, you have to understand the impact of you being able to assemble here today is a part of that racism that we face every day. I don't know, there's so much to go into. You can talk forever about the strategies and how they've affected everybody. I guess a way to get around this racism and this imperialism, I can support BDS as much as I possibly can, and I back it up and I understand it, and it's a great thing, but I still don't know how to implement that in my own tribal communities, because it runs so deep. The racism and the occupation runs so deep in our own governments that this nation-to-nation coexistence has constitutions implemented from what the U.S. government is doing. That's we have elders that don't understand it, and our oral traditions are things that are we have to create this dialogue, but then it's such a loss within indigenous communities that I can't even speak my own language. I have to speak English. I can't, I can say hello, I can sing our songs, but what does that actually mean? That doesn't, it doesn't help me every single day. I have to learn these other ways. Like I mentioned, I'm a little nervous, and like I said, I'm not an expert on these things, but I do know what it is to say. I can truly say, we live under occupation. The school I attend, like I said, it was there to exterminate me. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be able to travel and show my solidarity with, the people of Palestine, or, the struggles you guys or the First Nations have here. It wasn't meant to be that way, but we're here. And that's, every day is our resistance. Every day, me living and me traveling, me singing my songs, being able to pray every day is a form of our resistance, and a way to attack racism every day, because us praying was illegal. We were hurt, we were physically hurt and emotionally hurt, and we still feel those things. And just to like I said, just to travel, it's an insane thing for people to believe. People are scared for me to travel. which, it shouldn't be. You should be happy. You should want me to go somewhere and see new things, but it's a scary thing for my family. It's a scary thing for me to come here, where in my head, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'll be with other indigenous people that I came here and I understood how to say hello to the natives here, and I don't find that something to be afraid of. We have trouble when we fly and cross borders and things like that, but that's an unnatural thing to have a border that way. It's something that we don't understand, but we understand how. We may not understand why it was implemented, or why people felt we should be exterminated or anything like that, but we understand how to heal, and we understand our resistance, and I don't know. That's just what our group is about, is understanding the importance of combating racism and occupation by building indigenous solidarity. Networking with people that can help me understand something I may not understand. Like me going to Palestine has helped me show my own communities and Native communities what we can accomplish together. To show that what happened 500 years ago is happening still today. It's fresh, it's brand new. It's not something that you can say is not true. Because we can say they learned that from the people that imposed that on us. I don't know, there's so much to speak on to show that, but I keep saying, it's about that solidarity, and I think that's the only way to combat that racism and imperialism. And I don't know. I really don't know what else to say on top of that, except that to create that dialogue is a way to heal. Our words are our medicine. Our words are what keeps us going, and for me to be able to say I support certain issues is, gives me the power to empower somebody else. And I don't know, I just think that's an awesome thing that I think can continue on with understanding the occupation that you also are a part of, and supporting an indigenous cause, understanding what the occupation can impose on generation after generation, with to their mind and their body and their spirit, and their survival for generations to come.